Hi there. So today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different, something more fun and different from today's topics. My question to you is, what was your favorite movie as a kid? Mine was Little Mermaid and Pocahontas. All the animated movies we grew up on, all the cartoons had a starting point. What was that starting point? Well, the starting point happened when a cartoonist, Walt Disney, created the very first animated feature-length film. And that movie was called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. For me, almost everybody I knew grew up on Disney movies and Disney Channel, Disney shows, any type of cartoon. And I especially loved how Disney movies created messages for young children. And if you've ever loved a Disney movie, I feel you'll appreciate this information. So in 1937, Walt Disney created the first feature-length film that paved the way for all animated cartoons and movies to come. So the very first steps of this process is making drawings and making them over and over again until you get a perfect sequence of movement. And basically how you do that is, say you have a stick figure that you've drawn on a piece of paper. Say you draw the same stick figure on another piece of paper, but this time his arm is moving up instead of down. You flip these papers back and forth with these same drawings on them, and essentially you've made like a type of animated movement. And that's the basis of how these movies are created. It's just by drawing characters out, drawing their faces and their movements, and flipping them back and forth to get their perfect sequence. Once you've created a sequence of characters and their movements and established a little bit of their personalities through these drawings, you begin to develop a story. And the story is organized by a storyboard. You set up all the pictures on one board and you organize every scene as if they were real people and real things happening. According to an article that I read and watched, Walt Disney mapped out and acted out every moment of this part of the process of the drawings for his writers and animators and musicians to really capture what he was trying to convey. So with the drawings in the process and moving to a storyboard, the next part is very simple. These pictures go into a lot of editing and finalized with the big animators, the expert animators, who can really fix these pictures and make every moment happen. So once the pictures are created and there's a set sequence and storyline, now you can move into something different. This is more interesting to me. This particular step is, once these pictures are created, they are sent to a photographer, and every picture is taken and essentially being put into a little projection where you can watch the photos be a storyline and actually watch them as if they were happening. So every drawing and every movement is photographed so you can see them in a little projection roller, basically. So after that is moved and after the okay on that final projection and sequence is ready, then it can be moved to color and ink. In an article in a documentary that I watched as well, it stated that these chemists that were color chemists at the time created over 1,500 colors just for characters and backgrounds, just to capture that perfect moment and portray the character as if they were real life. So once this happens, we start to move into a different type of process, which is sound and music. Music is one of the more important parts of this process because you have all of these beautiful drawings and all of this color that's going into them and all these little movements, but when you add music into it, it becomes a different way to portray the story. And the story is now more realistic, it's real life almost. Disney often believed that if you added music into a story, the story is better told. If you've ever noticed how a lot of animated movies by Disney has a lot of music in it, that's why. So a full symphony orchestra will come in and create the music and write the score and then perform the score for the movie. So after all of these drawings and sound effects and coloring and music is implemented into the sequence, you can finally premiere. This movie premiered December 21st, 1937. According to the article, Disney releases Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. There was a lot of skepticism about how this movie was going to be made, if people would watch it, if it would even be something of interest. But Disney often said if you add heroes, romance, villains to it, it's a story. People will want to watch it, and that's exactly what what Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs conveyed. So during this movie process, it was in 1937, which was during the Great Depression. According to the same article, Disney releases Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Disney borrowed $1.5 million to create this movie and fund the movie, and after it was released to the public in February, it grossed over $8 million, which was a big number during the Great Depression, and also was made more money than any other film during that time. So it was really, really special. Celebrities and movie critics like Charlie Chaplin and Shirley Temple attended the premiere, and that's also referred to in the documentary and as well as the article. So this leads me to my final point, which is the movies and the animations and the cartoons all take a very a large amount of time to create, and it's a very extraneous process. So I feel that with this very first one being made, I know it's not a very popular movie now, but I do think it is a spectacular cinematic creation, because it created a lot of things that we watch today and we love today. So I hope this insight on this movie informs you a little more about animated movies and a little bit more about Walt Disney and his effort to make this movie. And I hope this also shows to appreciate an animated movie in its final form. Thank you.